Slum life. Unsanitary, overcrowded, and dehumanizing. And almost 11 million dwellers live in the slums of India. One of their biggest challenges? Using the bathroom. Something as simple as finding a safe and sanitized public restroom can be almost impossible. In comes the poop guy. Swapnil Chaturvedi graduated from Northwestern University and lived in the United States for almost a decade, where he worked as an electrical engineer designing navigation systems for next-generation vehicles. He and his wife dreamed of their future and the future of their daughter in the U.S. Their plans were to settle down permanently. A trip to India would change his future. In 2007, Swapnil went to India with his young family. He was appalled by the income disparity between the upper and middle classes. Worse was the fact that the poor had no access to basic sanitation. People who reside in the slums had it the worst. Often, they defecate in public. Because of this, even though India is considered a developing country, it's sometimes called the open defecation capital of the world. Worse, poor sanitation is the source of widespread disease and malnutrition. This bothered Swapnil so much that when he returned to the U.S. from his trip, he decided there was only one thing to do: fix the situation himself. But could one man do it? To Swapnil, it was worth a try. Swapnil began with pursuing a double degree in design and management, a course that introduced him to sanitation. Perhaps he could design and manage public bathrooms in India. He realized that he had one real calling. So in 2009, he gave up his high-paying job and his family gave up their U.S. residency to move back to India in an attempt to tackle one of its biggest problems, sanitation. Did people just not have access, or was the problem something deeper? To better his understanding of what was happening, Swapnil decided to live in the slums of India, where the population density is so high that sanitation problems are very aggravated. Through this experiment, he learned that it's not just access that's the problem, but that people do not really have an awareness of hygiene. There was also a fear around using public restrooms where women often didn't feel safe from harassment. How can an engineer address sanitation psychology? What could he do to improve the filthy conditions in urban India? Swapnil realized that 800 million Indians have cell phones, but only 626 million out of 1.2 billion Indians have access to working bathrooms. Could both be combined? After experimenting with different strategies for a couple of years, Swapnil created Samagra, a service that provides accessible and affordable sanitation to the poor by combining technology, behavioral sciences, and human-centered design. And yes, people call him the poop guy. He also calls himself the chief toilet cleaner. Swapnil created a reward program to encourage people to use their cell phone talk minutes to access clean bathrooms. He calls it Poop Rewards. Swapnil also set up improved sanitation services near slums and urban areas. His goal? To provide excellent sanitation services in order to change the mindset around hygiene. The men he hires undergo 7 days of comprehensive training to help them learn basic professionalism, including punctuality, work quality, and discipline. Every morning, they dress in khaki uniforms and set out on their mission. To Swapnil, they are soldiers waging war, a war against indignity. The cleaners who work for the organizer realize the importance of their work. They are proud of their contribution to their society. Today, this organization caters to about 200 slums in Pune, with plans to expand to 6 other cities to provide services to 20 million poor in the next several years. Swapnil's idea has been so successful that other countries are looking at similar programs. When asked about why he did what he did, Swapnil says that it's a matter of a woman's dignity. He recalls how his daughter hated using the bathroom at her school and would wait until she came home. What about people who do not have access? What about the poor women of India? Should they be forced to use restrooms that are unacceptable? Swapnil's efforts have had a positive impact in changing the sanitary habits amongst India's poor, having a long-lasting impact on physical health and mental well-being. For being brave enough to give up a life of luxury where he only had his family to worry about, and instead care for millions of others whom nobody helps, we recognize Swapnil Chaturvedi as a hero.